This is Dave Elitch from Metal Wani. Check it out.
Mr. Dave Elitch, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. How about you, man?
Yeah, it's going great. Kill or be killed. Man,
Yep.
what can I say about that? I had a chat with Max yesterday, and I don't know what to say. You guys have, literally broken down all your fans into pieces.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
It's a very good thing because, the kind of metal these days is, the albums are coming out, and then Kill or Be Killed. We need such dose.
Well, I mean, we didn't have any sort of premise in mind when we were writing the music. Mm-hmm. It was just whatever came out, whatever we had fun with, and whatever made your head nod. Whatever, if someone would play a riff and you'd go, oh yeah, that's fucking awesome. Or if I would play a drum beat and they would be like, that's cool. It's like, we weren't setting out to do anything specific. So it was just like, however the music ended up coming out as is how it ended up being. We weren't like trying to fit anything into a sort of mold. And I think that's because I play a lot of different styles of music.
Right.
And I think that is something that is, really prevalent in the metal community. Is people love to put everything in boxes and classify things and put everything into genres and subgenres, and it drives me crazy. Like, so much so that I just can't even like read reviews or websites or anything because it's just like it drives me nuts. I don't understand why that is. I mean, it's worse than any other style of music. And it's like, why can't you guys just listen to music? Why does it have to be like post-hardcore, pre-doom?
I get you. Those words are, pretty much irritating. And, it's always a pleasure to be able to, pick the brain of a drummer. So, it's a great opportunity.
Sure, no, my pleasure, man.
So, I have to say, this album has left me awe-stricken. How happy are you with this work?
I'm really happy with it. Like I was saying, like, everything was just...
natural.
Everything...
Everything was natural for all four of you.
Yeah, exactly. There was no, like, timetable. We were just doing it when we could fit it into our schedules, which took like 3 years to get everything done. But we did it because we were all friends and we love music and we just wanted to make something and have fun. So, when we wrote all the music together, and then when I was tracking all my drums, like they knew, Greg, Max, and Troy like knew what the vocal parts were going to be in bits and pieces, but I had to track the entire record without knowing what any of the vocal parts were going to be.
Right.
So it was a constant process of like me coming in and hanging out after I was done and being like, oh shit, like that's what you're going to sing there? Like, so it was cool watching it like morph and change, and Josh Wilbur really did an incredible job producing it.
Amazing guy.
Yeah, he engineered it, produced it, mixed it, and mastered it. It's incredible.
Absolutely. I was wondering whether you saw Kill or Be Killed as an opportunity to expand your, the drumming spectrum.
Sure. Well, I mean, I was in a band called Daughters of Mara that was on Virgin Records, like back in 2006, 2007. So, I've done this kind of stuff before, and there's like a hardcore fan base to that band. So some people knew me from that, but I grew up playing metal, so it's kind of like I was really excited about it because it was like a chance for me to like return to my roots. When I would get home from school every day when I was in high school,
right?
I'd play along to like Buddy Rich and Billy Cobham, but then I'd also play along to like Meshuggah and Pantera and Tool. So that was like a big part of me growing up and a big part of my drumming. So it was really cool to be able to play that and be like, feel like I could show that side of my character because it's a big part of my life.
I understand. Right, I understand that, and I'm still surprised because I've seen you've been touring with Miley Cyrus, handling the drumming duties. Killer Be Killed must be the farthest from that.
It's funny. In terms of like how hard I hit, it's pretty much depending on the song. Like it's pretty like I'm with Miley we're playing like arenas, so it's anywhere between like 15 and 18,000 people. So, right. So that they my point is like the velocity with which I'm hitting is pretty similar actually, which you wouldn't expect. But yeah, I mean, with Miley stuff, I was filling in for a friend of mine, my buddy Stacy Jones. So, I just showed up and I swapped my cymbals out. I didn't even move anything, and I just tried to play his parts exactly as I could. So there wasn't any room for me to add anything. I wasn't trying to add anything, but there's definitely no double bass and no crazy fills.
Right.
At all. But there was an acoustic stage where I'm playing brushes and we're covering Bob Dylan songs, so it in that regard it couldn't be more different than
that's cool. I mean, drummers, even I'm a drummer, I love playing different styles, so I'm sure such different the stage you are on with Miley Cyrus, it's a different kind of fans, and the kind of music they listen to. It's good if a drummer explores these areas.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I love all different kinds of music, so whatever I've done, whether it's Miley or M83 or this stuff I'm doing now with Anti-Mask, like everything is completely different, and I love all types of music, so I'm able to get off on all these different aspects of my personality. I feel like if I had to play one style of music, regardless of what it was, all the time, I just get bored.
Yeah, that's true. That's obvious.
Killer
Be Killed have 4 different individuals.
Right.
4 different styles, 4 different, varieties, all put together in one pond.
Right.
And you guys have explored different things. So for you as a drummer, how many times, while recording the album, you felt that, you're exploring something which probably you might not have done in the past?
Well, I haven't really done anything that has been like this heavy. Like there are some moments on the record that are really, really heavy.
True.
And I was, had tons of fun, laying into the drums and just, it's just being as brutal as possible without any sort of excuse, So I guess I probably haven't. I mean, I've played that kind of music before, but in terms of like doing something that's going to have like this amount of reach and affect this many people, like probably people haven't heard me do that type of thing before. So, so yeah, I mean that would probably, and the double bass stuff. Like I said, I grew up doing all that, but I mean I haven't played a double bass pedal on a gig in a long time. So It's like getting back to my double bass chops, and so that's totally different.
It's like, this experience brought even more substance to your masterclass and private lessons, huh?
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of film score stuff lately, so I just did a film score yesterday, and it's all orchestral stuff, and you're, concert bass drums and percussion, you're reading charts, and it's fun to be able to put on all these different hats, but at the same time, you have to keep all of these plates spinning and maintain all of these different skill sets.
Absolutely.
So you really have to stay on your game to keep everything working.
True, I understand that. And the super group which I was talking about, the point here is fans they're like, oh my god, now 4 different individuals have so many different ideas, it'll be difficult for us to get into this album, it'll be difficult for us to understand what's happening, but you guys proved us wrong. Now, the moment the album starts and the moment the album ends, it's like probably the most easiest way of listening to an album. It absorbs so easily. It's like a fun element in the album.
Awesome. Yeah, well, we put a lot of thought into the track order and how the segues between the songs. Greg especially is very, very, very concerned with all of that. He spent a lot of time thinking about that.
Right, agree with that. And what about Max? I mean, Max and Igor combination has always worked for for all the Sepultura and other thrash metal fans. Now Max and Dave combination. Now, how many times did you get some tribal experience from the man?
Yeah, no, I mean it was a trip for me because I grew up listening to Sepultura a ton. So especially like Roots and that live stuff like Blood Rooted. So like I mean all that stuff.
Right.
Rise and Beneath the Remains, all that stuff. So it was a trip for me every time. Every once in a while we'd be before Troy came into the band. If me, Max, and Greg would be jamming.
Right.
And I'd have to check myself every once in a while and be like, man, I'm fucking playing with Max Cavalera. Like, this is awesome. He's such a warm dude. He's such a good guy. And he just like, I think I play differently than anybody he's ever played with. Mm-hmm. So, he would ask me to do something and I would be like, okay, that's cool. Like, what if I do it like this? And he'd be like, oh yeah, that's cool. So like any band, we'd feed off of each other.
I agree with that. And do you feel doing the projects like these kind of improve skills you have in heavy metal?
Sure. I mean, I mean, like I said, it's really just a matter of like maintaining. Specifically for me, the only thing I really had something where I had to work on it was like the double bass stuff, just because it had been so long. And there's a couple sections on
heavy stuff.
The record where it's pretty fast,
right?
Tempo wise, but for me, like my main thing while recording the record is because I base a lot of my drum parts off of what the vocals are doing. Obviously, I don't want to get in the way of anything. I want to be supportive.
Right.
But
you were not sure how the vocals are going to be on this album, weren't you?
Yeah. I could take a guess, but in terms of like specifically what they were going to be singing, I had no idea.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I was really trying to just stay out of the way as much as possible. So I had Josh and Greg, just being like, come on, man, like do more fills. And I'm just like, shit, well, I don't want to step on anybody's toes. I'd rather just lay back and make everything gel and make everything feel good. But when I did throw some fills in, I was very, very conscious to not have it be like the typical quad double bass, like which is so fucking ran into the ground. And I'm so tired of people just being lazy and doing that in heavy music. It's like people have been doing that for 30 years.
True.
It's just boring.
Absolutely.
So when I had and there are times when I do something similar to that on the record because it fits. I'm not going to do something different just for the sake of doing something different if it doesn't work musically. Mm-hmm. So there are times when I do things sort of like that because it fits in the structure, but I tried to still even change it up a little bit if I could.
Oh, that's cool. Change is always a great thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's cool. And you also have a new band with Omar and Cedric from the Mars Volta. And Flea from Red Hot Chili Peppers coming up. So I'm actually stoked for Anti-Mask because the few tracks that are available online are cool, super awesome.
Thanks.
How is the recording process coming along?
We're right in the middle of it right now. I got a call from Cedric about a week before I was leaving to go out with Miley, and he was just like, "Hey man, you want to jam tomorrow?" Like totally out of the blue. Mm-hmm. And then Omar hit me up and he was like, "Hey man, like looking forward to jamming tomorrow." And I didn't even know those guys were talking because they had a huge falling out.
Right.
So I was like, "Oh wow, okay, cool," And so we went into this studio and just jammed for like 2 days, and the energy was really good, and we had a lot of fun, and the vibe was good. I mean, it felt like I was like 15 in my mom's garage, like jamming with some friends. Like the vibe was really cool and
awesome.
Yeah, and we're all just firing ideas back and forth to each other. So, we went right into the studio, and I did, half of the album, and then I had to go out with Miley for 3 weeks, and then ever since I got back, we've been working on completing the album. So, hopefully that's going to be out, fairly soon.
Right.
And then, figuring out tours and stuff like that. But
that's what I was asking because...
Yeah. I mean, we're definitely gonna tour. I just don't know
Yeah,
when.
I just hope you guys, all of you find some time from your, individual bands and individual projects and find some time and tour, because it will, I'm telling you honestly, it's going to be so tough for fans to not see you guys together on stage. Because
Yeah,
this has got to happen, okay?
yeah, the anti-mask stuff is for sure gonna tour. As far as Killer Be Killed goes, it's the same thing as making the record. It's like,
Yes.
we all are so incredibly busy and we're touring so much. It's, I mean, we just filmed a music video the other day,
Cool.
uh,
For which song?
and for Killer Be Killed for Wings.
Wings of Feather and Wax.
Yeah.
Cool.
But just to be able to, I mean, you should have seen the email chain just to be able to get all four of us in the same room for one day. I mean, it was insane.
Right.
So my point is, we're definitely going to tour with Killer Be Killed at some point, but it's going to be really tough with scheduling, and we're going to have to plan it out really far in advance.
True.
So at some point, I just don't know when.
I completely agree with that, and that brings me to the question that I know it's I'm just expecting a lot, but if there is going to be a Killer Be Killed tour, let's say later this year or maybe next year, India is far, so.
Oh man, I would love to. I've never been to India, and I want to go so bad. I mean, I love the culture and the music and the food. I mean, I eat like chicken tikka masala like I've been probably like every Indian place in Los Angeles, and I love tabla and
Wow.
and I love the whole culture. I mean, Indian music is the most sophisticated, harmonic and melodic and rhythmic music there is.
Classical music.
Yeah, it's incredibly sophisticated. So I've been wanting to go there for a long time. So, and I'm really good friends with the guys in Carnival, and
Cool. They've come here 2 times.
yeah, they've been over there a few times, and they love
Yes.
it. They said you guys are like so nice, and they have such a good time. They have nothing but great things to say about you guys. So I'd love to go over there.
Nonetheless, in future, I hope because we haven't seen any one of you, to be honest. Okay, Max hasn't been here, Greg hasn't been here, you haven't been here, and Troy. Oh my God, they were supposed to come, and then the gig got cancelled for whatever reason.
Oh yeah, was that the thing with Deep Purple or something?
No, it was Mastodon. Then it was Anthrax. Those guys were supposed to come early last year, but some certain things happened, didn't work out. So again, okay, disappointed Indian fans.
Yeah, well, we'd love to come over there. It's just a matter of making it happen.
Absolutely true. So let me end the interview on a very short note.
Sure.
Dave Elitch, drummer of Killer Be Killed. I'll ask you this question of how would you define this amazing Killer Be Killed album in a sentence? How would you do that?
Well, thank you. I'm glad you dig it, man. I just say it is whatever you want it to be.
Wow. As simple as it can be.
I mean,
I understand.
Any art you put out into the world, it is what you think it is, but it's also what the consumer thinks it is.
Right.
So I'm not going to define it or put any labels on it, but it's whatever you want it to be.
Right. So Troy Sanders, came up with this definition of a perfect blend of a legend, a freak, a beast, and a Wookiee. So if I have to divide this into 4 sections, who's a legend, who's a freak, who's a beast, and who's a Wookiee?
I think Troy just said that as a joke, and people took it.
I'm just kidding. Nonetheless, Dave, it's been an honor. Thank you so much. It's great having a chat with you.
Yeah, great talking to you, man.